I think the best way to prove your value is to work. The separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. That I was not going to be stopped. So at the age of 18, this was my life.
Kobe Bryant nicknamed himself the Black Mamba, inspired by Quentin Tarantino's 2003 film Kill Bill. During one of the lowest points of his career, Kobe created this alter ego to separate what was going on the court and off the court. It was no doubt a scary and doubtful time for Kobe, as he said, "I went from a person who was at the top of his game, had everything coming, to a year later having absolutely no idea where life is going or if you're even going to be part of life as we all know it." Kobe would be the one to handle the off-the-court issues, and the Black Mamba would destroy everybody on that court. The Black Mamba in the film Kill Bill was everything Kobe was: aggressive, deadly, and accurate. What Kobe hadn't intended would happen is that this nickname, the Black Mamba, would inspire a larger-than-life mentality that would inspire countless people across the globe. But what exactly is the Mamba mentality? Like with anything in life, purpose is very important. Without purpose, there is no goal. Kobe grew up watching the greats of basketball that came before him. He studied Magic, Bird, Jordan, and many other greats. But instead of putting them all on a pedestal and idolizing them, he thought, how could I get to their level? That was his focus. That singular question drove him to become arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time. In today's world, where everyone is so focused on achieving a desired result, whether it's getting that raise at the job or becoming rich, this mindset offers a sharp contrast as it focuses on the process and discipline of sticking to the work. Simply put, it's a lifestyle, which leads into another key point, which is obsession. In today's world, being obsessed with something always has a negative connotation. It's not good for you to spend too much time on something, but obsession won Kobe 5 NBA titles, 2 Finals MVPs, NBA MVP, and 18 All-Star selections, and the list goes on. If Kobe wasn't obsessed, he wouldn't have those accomplishments. Tim Grover, former trainer of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, had this to say about obsession. And obsession comes in the small details that nobody pays attention to. And I have a saying, alright, interested people watch obsessed people change the world. Hard work outweighs talent every time, Bryant famously said. Kobe always looked for new ways to optimize his training and day so he can be as efficient as possible. The more typical workout routine people have is training from 12 to 2 and then 6 to 8. Kobe didn't follow this typical workout routine. Instead, he trained from 4 to 6, 9 to 11, 2 to 4, and 7 to 9. There's a very simple reason why Kobe did this. His philosophy was that as you train a little more every day than everyone else, eventually this will accumulate over time to a point where you'll be recognized as a prodigy, a talent, somebody others can't even hope to compete against. Mamba mentality is about 4 a.m. workouts, doing more than the next guy, and then trusting in the work you have put in when it's time to perform. It takes a lot of work, often invisible work, to be successful. People will celebrate that success, but not necessarily the work that went into it. The Mamba mentality is not only about working harder than everyone else, but working smarter too. After Allen Iverson torched Kobe for 41 points in 1999, Kobe came to the conclusion that working harder wasn't enough. He had to study Iverson maniacally. He read every article and book he could find on Iverson, watched every game he had played, studied his success and struggles, and searched tirelessly for any weaknesses. This eventually led Kobe to study how great white sharks hunt seals off the coast of South Africa. And it worked, as Kobe got his revenge against Iverson in 2000. Iverson finished only with 16 points in that game, in a season where he was averaging 31 points per game. Kobe always asked questions and absorbed the answers like a sponge. He would ask some of the greats that came before him on their specific moves, mindset, and training routine, and try to take what they say and apply it to his own training. People fail every day in their lives, like failing a test, not getting that job you interviewed for, or not making the team. Any path is full of failures. In life, people tend to look at other people who are more successful than them and think they never failed, but that's just not true. What separated Kobe from every other player wasn't because of all his successes. Those successes would have never came if he didn't have the confidence to fail. If someone was ahead of Kobe, he knew he would not catch them in a week or a month. He would think long term, work relentlessly, and over time, that gap becomes smaller and smaller. Eventually, he would break past his opposition. Failures was what drove the Mamba mentality, because now it gives you something to prove. To prove the critics and the naysayers wrong. And most importantly, to prove to yourself that you were right. After the gut-wrenching loss to the Celtics in the 2008 NBA Finals, many questioned if Kobe still had what it takes to win championships again. Kobe took those words to heart and used it as motivation to win back-to-back titles. That was extraordinary, but probably did not surprise anyone who knew Kobe Bryant. Nobody knows what their limit is. Why don't you try to find out? That was Kobe's approach. Whatever you think your ceiling is, you can get past it through hard work. This relates a lot to the Navy SEAL 40% rule, which is based on the idea that when your mind tells you you're done, you're only at 40% of your actual capacity. By pushing further, you can tap into the remaining 60% of your potential. On the other side of the scale is laziness. Kobe has zero tolerance for it. Little lazy moments here and there make a huge impact over a long period of time. I can't relate to lazy people, Bryant said. We don't speak the same language. I don't understand you. Basketball, like in many other areas in life, is a team sport. Kobe didn't win his 5 championships by himself. Kobe needed to inspire his teammates to become better versions of themselves first. While Kobe always had his focus, hard work, and warrior attitude, not all of his teammates did. That's when you needed to hold other people accountable. I quote, "There's a big misconception where people think winning or success comes from everybody putting their arms around each other and saying kumbaya and patting them on the back when they mess up. And that's just not reality. If you're going to be a leader, you're not going to please everybody. You need to hold people accountable, even if you have that moment of being uncomfortable." Bryant was known for being completely blunt and honest to his teammates about what they needed to improve and his expectations of them. You can't win a team sport if everyone isn't on the same page. His focus was not only on improving himself, but the others around him. Kobe was known to play through a lot of injuries and pain throughout his career. He missed a total of 112 games due to his injury in his 18-year career. That is remarkable considering that is only 8% of his entire career. And he has been through a sprained shoulder, fractured knee, sprained ankle, and most famously, a torn Achilles tendon. The Achilles tear he suffered in 2013 was a true display of courage and heart. On April 12, 2013, Kobe tore his Achilles in his left leg and was clearly in a lot of pain. The Lakers were on the cusp of securing a playoff spot with a win over the Warriors. This fact no doubt influenced what Kobe was going to do next. Kobe got up, walked to the bench, and after a brief treatment returned to the court to not only shoot but make both free throws to tie the game. Those who have dealt with such an injury know how debilitating it is. But for Kobe, it was just another obstacle. In one of the most famous interviews involving Kobe Bryant, he answered a question in a way that had the reporter shook. Following the Lakers' second win over the Orlando Magic in the 2009 NBA Finals, the reporter asked him why he did not look happy. His team was 2-0 ahead. Kobe replied, "What's there to be happy about?" Bryant said. "The job's not finished." "Is the job finished?" "I don't think so." Kobe at this point in his career had a lot more wisdom. He knew that taking your eyes off the target can prove to be costly. Celebrating too early can prove to be costly. After all, the goal of the finals was the first team to win 4 games, not 2. He didn't want his opponents to have the slightest opportunity to play catch-up. "I have always aimed to kill the opposition," wrote Bryant. Added to his previous year's finals loss to the Celtics, the added motivation and determination and experience, he knew all too well that almost reaching a goal is the same as not reaching the goal. I know it's very easy for people to think that Kobe's talents as a basketball player were God-given and not earned, but that could be further from the truth. The reality is that even though Kobe had natural attributes and abilities that other people can only dream of, what separates him from everyone else in the league is the amount of work and dedication he put into perfecting his craft. The Mamba mentality is being the first one to show up at practice and the last one to leave. It's refusing to leave the court until you have made 1,000 shots. It's figuring out weaknesses and working tirelessly to make it your strengths. It's giving it your all on both ends of the court. Moving beyond the court, it's about being curious and humble enough to learn from others with more wisdom than you. It's about realizing that failure is the blueprint to success. That no matter the result, you're just trying to get better every single day. That's Mamba mentality.